It's Newsday, and today Tin Hifi gets a robot waifu, Kinera gets an animal waifu, Dyson and Huawei go mental, and B&W go to the races. It's Wheezy Tech News. Hey guys, this is Noel, and this is Wheezy Tech News, the show where I talk about some of the recent news in consumer audio tech that I found interesting or that I thought might be interesting to you. So let's get on with the news. Tin Hifi have a couple of new IEMs that make up their new C series of earphones. The C2 Mech Warrior body shell is made from CNC machined 6063 aluminium, although has a very different body style and shape to their other models. The C2 Mech Warrior also uses a newly designed 10mm dynamic driver that Tin Hifi says has an exceptionally lightweight voice coil with PU and liquid crystal polymer composite diaphragm. Cable connection type is a 0.78mm 2-pin, and I for one think this is good that they've moved away from the MMCX connector, and the weight of each earpiece is 5.9 grams. Tin Hifi says that they tuned the C2 Mech Warrior based on suggestion from enthusiasts, but didn't specify the target they were aiming for. A graph has been provided. I'll put it on screen and let you decide what you think of this. No anime girl here, but instead some kind of battle mech. So if you always wanted a headphone with a robot waifu, here it is. Next up is the C3, which has a 3D printed resin body shell with a carbon fiber weave design, which looks much sleeker than the C2, and it's a little lighter too at 4.38 grams per earpiece. I'm not sure if they use the same driver as the C2, but it is described in the same way. For the tuning, the C3 is said to be tuned to Harman, and it also uses a 0.78mm 2-pin connector for the cable. Both the C2 Mech Warrior and C3 are available now, and pricing is $29 for the C2 and $49 for the C3. This one is a bit different to the usual anime waifu IEM. There's no cartoon child here, but an angry looking panda. One for the furries amongst you? This is the Kinera Celeste Pandamon, a new universal fit IEM from Kinera Audio with their second generation 10mm square planar magnetic driver. Kinera say that they paired a balanced armature with their first generation SPD driver to act as a treble tweeter, but they don't need to do this with the second generation SPD driver, which has a much better performance throughout the frequency range. Tuning is said to be pyramid shaped, whatever that means, but here is the graph that they supplied in their blurb so you can check it out. The Celeste Pandamon's body shell is resin with a stainless steel face cover that features the Pandamon mascot, and I do like the backstory they have for the Pandamon, also known as the Iron-Eating Beast, which is apparently inspired by Chinese fantasy literature. Despite looking fairly bulky, the weight of the Celeste Pandamon is just 3.5 grams per earpiece. Sensitivity is 108 dB per milliwatt with a very low 9 ohms impedance, and is being supplied with a braided OFC copper cable, 6 pairs of tips, storage bag, and some other accessories. The Kinera Celeste Pandamon are available now, and pricing is $59 US. In previous news videos, I talked about IKEA's partnership with Sonos in producing home audio equipment hidden inside furniture items, such as the Symfonisk table lamp, for which you can now get a range of different lampshades to customize the look, and the picture frame speaker, for which IKEA have released some new panels featuring some reproductions of famous artworks. It is actually a pretty cool idea to get sound sources hidden in plain sight, albeit not ones that you could expect to have the highest of audio fidelity. It seems like IKEA are going hard on hiding tech items inside furniture items, not just speakers, with items like the Starkwind air purifier disguised as a side table. Form and function together is something that IKEA has always done very well. Until now, if you preferred your speaker lamp in the floor standing variety, you'd have to hoist your Symfonisk atop a speaker pedestal. If that was you, then you're in luck, as IKEA have a new Sonos Symfonisk floor standing lamp on tall legs. Whilst I'm sure it would look nicer than a lamp atop a speaker pedestal, it is functionally no different. It does actually look like the exact same lamp, but on legs. Now don't get me wrong, it is an integrated solution that fits with the whole aesthetic, but the pairing of form and function that IKEA does so well is sadly lacking here. Perhaps if the legs housed shelving, they could serve to be even more functional, rather than simply exist to provide elevation to your illumination. That said, they look quite nice, stylish, classic and modern all at once, and for those invested in the whole Sonos or Symfonisk whole home audio deal, these are probably right up your street, and will pair well with existing speakers in your home, such as the bookshelf speaker, the table lamp, the picture frame, and other Sonos speakers. They can even be combined to create surround sound systems, and could work well as rear satellites next to your seating, which I think is actually one of the more compelling applications for speakers designed as furniture. Home theatre surround systems rarely just disappear into the decor of the home, and for those trying to integrate their tech into their life rather than dedicate entire spaces to home theatre, this this sort of hidden in plain sight solution is actually quite ingenious. Let's see more of this sort of thing. Now, if all of this floats your boat, the IKEA Symfonisk floor lamp is due to launch in January 2023, and pricing is set to be $260. Do me a favor at this point, if you like this sort of content, then I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. It actually helps out the channel a lot more than you might expect. Are we going to talk about this monstrosity from Dyson? Really? No, I don't think I will. Speaking of things that don't make any sense to me, Huawei have decided that combining TWS earphones with a watch is a good idea. So this is a smartwatch with a watch face that flips up to reveal a compartment that contains a pair of tiny little wireless earphones. I mean, I guess in theory this is a convenient way of carrying your earphones with you, but isn't this going to seriously compromise, well, a whole number of things? The battery life of the watch, the earphones, the durability of the watch, the sound quality of the earphones. I mean, they're so tiny there isn't much room inside to tune them, and what little space there is will be loaded full of electronics and battery. But let's just give them the benefit of the doubt for a moment. The earbuds supposedly have AI-powered noise cancelling technology, a 30 mAh battery, and weigh just 4 grams. The watch runs Harmony OS with all the usual smartwatch features, has a 410 mAh battery, and a 1.43-inch AMOLED screen with 326 pixels per inch. Battery life of the watch is actually not as bad as one would expect, with up to 3 days of usage between charges, but I would assume that goes down a lot depending on how often you use the features and, probably most importantly, the earphones. And as I suggested, the battery life of those earphones is pretty poor, with a maximum of 4 hours music playback with the noise reduction disabled and 3 with it enabled, and a fair amount less for talk time at up to 2.5 hours. Now that is all pretty poor by today's standards, but do you know what? That's actually better than I would have expected. The Huawei watch buds are China only for the time being at least, with no indication if or when they will launch internationally. But still, as a proof of concept, okay, maybe they are onto something, and it will be interesting to see how far this technology could be pushed in the future. This next one is for you motorsport and headphone enthusiasts who want to listen like Lando Norris, presumably fast and loud. Bowers & Wilkins have a new special edition version of their Px8 Bluetooth wireless headphones in partnership with McLaren Auto. The Px8, the latest high-end, high price tag flagship Bluetooth wireless headphones from B&W, were released back in late September 2022, featuring the usual B&W design, blending metal construction and Nappa leather padding for a premium look and feel, and yet keeping the weight down to just 320 grams. That's not especially light for a portable headphone, but it's also not too heavy considering the premium construction. They use a 40mm dynamic driver with what B&W calls an angled carbon diaphragm. They're also packing all the features you'd expect, such as hybrid active noise cancellation with pass-through options, as well as dual microphone system for phone calls. Battery life is claimed at a decent 30 hours of playback, with quick charging providing 7 hours in just 15 minutes. The Px8 is available in 2 colorways, an all black version and a silver and tan version, although pricing is pretty steep at $699 or £599. Alongside the standard edition of the Px8, B&W also released a special 007 edition for your ears only. The 007 edition was made in celebration of 60 years of Bond music and to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the release of the first James Bond movie, Dr. No, which was released in 1962. This partnership comes about due to B&W's relationship with Abbey Road Studios, who have been using B&W speakers since 1988 and who have recorded the soundtrack for several Bond movies, as well as recently hosting the recording of Bond 25, an album featuring all new arrangements of the music from all of the 25 Bond movies performed by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. The 007 version of the Px8 is similar to the black version but with a blue tint that is called Midnight Blue and is apparently inspired by the jacket worn by Bond in Dr. No. The power button is red and there are 007 logos on the ear cups, as well as the iris design from the Bond movie titles on the inside of the ear cups. But that's not all you're getting with the 007 edition. You're also getting a lighter wallet to the tune of $100, with pricing set at a whopping $799 or £699. That's silly money penny for a Bluetooth headphone. Now, B&W have another special edition version of their Px8 to celebrate another of their partnerships, this time their partnership with McLaren Auto. B&W have worked with McLaren since 2015 and designed the audio systems for a number of McLaren sports cars, including the Artura, the GT, and the Senna models. The Px8 McLaren combines the Px8 headphone with McLaren's signature colorway and subtle McLaren logo on the side of the headband. The main body of the headphone is galvanic grey with the classic McLaren papaya orange color on the accent ring around the ear cups and lining the inside of the ear pads. That papaya color can even be seen on the braided cable that runs internally through the headband and provides a little flash of color on the sides that I think is a really nice touch. Of course, this being a special edition version of the Px8, just like the 007 version, it also commands a higher price tag of $799 or £699. Right, that's it from me for this episode of Wheezy Tech News. There's more news coming up on the channel, so if you don't want to miss out, then make sure you get subscribed. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a good one.